Welcome, race fans, to Thursday Night Thunder, proudly brought to you by Richie B's Pizza, located out of Dothan, Alabama. If you're ever out there in Dothan, Alabama, check out Richie B for some great, authentic Italian-style pizza. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out here tonight at Daytona, sitting about for 100 laps of, hopefully, green flag racing, but you know, it is Daytona. If nothing else, we've got some great weather out here tonight. We've got our usual 65-degree weather down there on the track. Is sitting at 75, mostly cloudy. Tires are going to stick out here at Daytona in this 2011 Throwback Impalla. 2.479 mile track. We're going to call it a 2.5er. A little bit less than Talladega, but a lot more deadly. We have got that yellow line these drivers are going to have to deal with tonight. Get her down on that yellow line, bump that yellow line, and you're going to go for a ride, flying up into the driver next to you, and quite frankly, that's just going to piss him off. A lot of drivers out here unfamiliar with one another. This is our open night of racing, so there is a little bit of a stranger danger. Several drivers coming in tonight that usually don't run with us. But we've got the regulars out here. We've got Gary Whitmer Jr., Gary Whitmer Sr., we have got Edward Bray, Joel Guy, James Brown, Pat Boucher joining us, Richie B, Taylor Potts, Garrett Potts, and Lee Staples. Going to be some good racing out here tonight, as long as these drivers can keep it together and keep a good run about them. Taking a look at our qualifying order, as the drivers are lining up out there on that front line, we've got Edward Bray with a 50.192, Derek Klichaki with a 50.205, one of those new drivers I had just mentioned. John Rogers out there in third with a 50.207, Sal Casey 50.210, another new driver. And James Brown with a 50.212. Big shout out there to James Brown from Cora. Alexander L. Russell sitting back in 6th. Gary Whitmer Jr., Chris Hogue sitting in 7th and 8th. 9th and 10th belonging to Scott Holmes and Elaine Goodrow. Might have a little lady in the house. Don't get too many female drivers. We'll have to see if we can learn something about Elaine. Brandon Harder sitting in 11th position. Danny Rudy sitting in 12th. 13th and 14th belonging to Anthony Poston and Lendro Castro, number 2. Definitely a new face there in the crowd. Justin Napier, Robbie Bryan bidding out for 15th and 16th. Mark Holmes and Marty Howe. Well, how about that? 17th and 18th. Stephen McGough. Everett Lane. There is the man in position 20 with a brand new profile picture there of Everett Lane. Looking sharp out there, sporting the shades and the beard. So that is what Everett Lane looks like. Now we know. Back there in 21st position, we have got Joseph Pisciotta. New face in the crowd. Jack Watts in position 22. 23rd and 23rd are invalid. 24th, Pat Ruche. Dean Viney sitting back in 25th. Richard Brose, 26th. Ivan Garcia, 27th. Dylan Dunford. Nick Reynolds, 28th and 29th. Lee Staples near the back in 30th, and Michael Cooper in 31st. Matt Tift in 32nd. Jean-Paul Arsenal, 34th. Gary Whitmer Sr. back in 35th. Christopher Teets and John Estes. Kevin Scott Nelson, Joel Guy. Garrett Potts, Frank Speed. Christopher Reardon and Taylor Potts in the rear of the field. Well, that is our field, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like a very interesting field. Might be a very dicey field out here tonight. 100 laps to go. Edward Bray leading us off tonight. want to give a big shout out there to Richie B., our sponsor of the night. That is a huge field, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out there to Becky Whitmer on that KMA TV chat. Rooting on her two boys, Gary Whitmer Sr. and Gary Whitmer Jr. Kind of cool to see the Whitmer brother, or the Whitmer father and son team, doubling their chances to bring a win home for the Whitmers. Getting ready to go, hopefully, Green Flag Racing in Thursday Night Thunder, brought to you by Richie B. And away they go, ladies and gentlemen. Daytona, 100 laps. Nice, clean start. All drivers staying in formation as required by the admin of the night sitting out there, doing everything they can to ensure out a very good start out here at Daytona. Nearing that backstretch, half a lap in. Number 32 down there on that inside lane, keeping pace with Edward Bray in no hurry. 100 laps out here tonight to get her done. Coming around turn 3 and 4, coming around pit row. First lap in the books, safe and sound. Derek in the number 36, keeping ride with Edward Bray. Number 25, Sal Casey, second vehicle in line on that outside lane. Number 32 of John Rogers. We have seen John Rogers and Edward Bray hook up many times out here, oftentimes racing each other for position 1 and 2 at the end of the night. James Brown, third vehicle in line on that inside lane, side by side with Chris Hogue, moving up on 2. The number 25 of Sal Casey. Number 5 of Gary Whitmer Jr. Inside lane in that red number 5 behind James Brown, fourth car on that inside lane. Keeping a very safe distance off of James. Keeping an eye on the 31 of Lane Goodrow, Exalta, side by side. Scott Holmes in the number 29. Huge gap between the 29 and the 14. 14, Anthony Poston beginning to close that gap. 0-2 of Brandon Harder wants nothing to do with that front pack at the moment. Just hanging out there in no man's land. Number 39 coming into frame. 39 of Justin Napier. Number 79 of Lerndo Castro, number 2. Number 29 changing lanes up top, Scott Holmes. Chris Hogue, third Chevy Impala 2011 make and model on that outside lane, riding side by side with James Brown. Off to a really good start out here. That gives me a lot of high hopes out here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are driving the 2011. We drive these 2011s every Thursday night at Daytona. Nice, spunky little vehicle. Step down from the Xfinity classes that we run there on Monday. Very easy to control. Right amount of balance, right amount of weight. Edward Bray out there in front with John Rogers. John Rogers in that number 32, flame-driven side-by-side with Derek Glichowski. I'm going to probably butcher this poor gentleman's name all night long. We're just going to call him Derek. How about that? Number 6 of Chris Hogue doing a fine job. Ryan Long. Jack Watts out here tonight in the number 77. Big shout out there to Jack Watts running with Southeast Motorsports. With his buddy Nick Reynolds, number 54, tied in tow. Pat Rouchet in the number 9, looking very sharp. Pat Rouchet side by side with the 07 of Richie B. And there is our sponsor for the night, ladies and gentlemen. Number 7 of Richie B. Looks like the number 16, Danny Rudy, in a little bit of trouble, dropping back 4 spots. 224 narrowly grazing up on that wall. 224, Kevin Scott Nelson pushing on to the number 4 of Robbie Bryan. Back to Richie B. Richie B, our Thursday night sponsor out of Dothan, Alabama. Huge car enthusiast. Great pizza maker. Number 6 into the wall. Number 9 going for a ride. Number 9 of Pat Ruscha. Spinning it out. No caution, ladies and gentlemen, but Pat Ruscha. Let me go back and take one look at that and see exactly what happened. But we are still under green flag racing. Right there it is. Looking at Chris Hogan, the number 6, going up just a little bit. Spooking the number 39. 39 down onto the number 9. Tough break for Pat Rouchet. Back up to green flag racing with Edward Bray, Derek, John Rogers, and Sal Casey, and James Brown. Number 31 still in tow, Elaine Goodrow. Elaine's doing a pretty good job out here tonight. So far, so good. Gary Whitmer in 5th position. Number 16 of Danny Rudy, racing along with the number 83 of Stephen McGow. Robbie Bryan dropping down to position 19. Gary Whitmer Sr. in the number 52, working along with Ivan Garcia. And Joel Guy, Lee Staples, and Garrett Potts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a little bit of strategy going on right here. Now, I'll tell you what, we have got 5 fine KM8 drivers right here. We have got Joel Guy, Taylor Potts, Garrett Potts, Ivan Garcia, Lee Staples, and Gary Whitmer. Count them, 6. And these drivers, they're banking on a big one. They are absolutely 100% banking on a big caution to come. And that's why they have backed out of that pack. In absolutely no hurry to get up to that pack. They are 7 seconds back. At Daytona, that's not impossible to catch that pack. But now if this goes to green flag, these drivers are going to have a situation as they come around. Pat Rouchet, good to see Pat Rouchet back out on that field after being slammed down into pit row by the number 39. 39 being by Justin Napier. Lee Staples on that outside lane. Garrett Potts working with the Lee Staples, number 52 of Gary Whitmer. Ivan Garcia on that inside lane. Joel Guy in the number 91. Joel Guy, one of our top admins out here with KMA Racing, having to do double duty. Going to be taking it 3 wide with upcoming lap traffic here. 3 wide, not that complicated out here. It is the number 41. Daytona plenty big enough to go 3 wide, possibly even 4 wide. Adding one more driver to this secondary pack. Edward Bray leading 8 laps. Derek leading his 3rd. Green flag racing on lap 11 of 100. Riding on the hood of one of my favorite drivers, Gary Whitmer Jr., up onto the rear end of the number 31 of Lane Goodrow. Elaine doing a really good job out here tonight. I do not know anything about Elaine, but so far, so good. Side by side with the number 29 of Scott Holmes. Anthony Poston, position 10. Nobody really wanting to bite out on that 3-wide action as of yet. Watching the momentum of Robbie Bryan. A yellow line right there, folks. That is exactly what we are talking about. You can see the steep grade of this turn as these corners come in. Huge arc. But the yellow line, it'll get you every time out here at Daytona. Outside lane needs to be careful not to push that inside lane down onto that yellow. Riding in car with our sponsor, Richard Brose. Richard Brose started 26th, currently up is into 9th position. Plenty of room to go 3 wide, but Richie B, knowing he's got plenty of time to go, 86 more laps to get her done. Check us out tomorrow night on our Friday Night Flight Series, brought to you by Greg McClendon and Pie 5 Pizza as we continue our Indianapolis week. The boys are out here running Indianapolis on Monday and Tuesday, 6 cautions and 7 cautions. Rough week out here for Indianapolis. Hopefully tomorrow night they'll do a little bit better in those big bad Gen 6 vehicles. Leaders are going to be heading off with some lap traffic. Hold your line, hold your line. Safely passing the lap traffic of the 199 of Mark Holmes. We're looking at speeds of 196, 195. Edward Bray, our race leader, leading off 11 laps. Derek Glachaki in that outside lane. A little bit of trouble near the rear of this front pack. Caution free, lap 16 of 100 though. James Brown on that inside lane, 3rd position in. Derek up high, 29 in sight. Scott Holmes in the number 29 coming around. More lap traffic. Already 3 drivers lap traffic. Sal Casey, Mark Holmes, and Pat Boucher. Pat, caution is out. Taking a look at Robbie Bryan. We are 3 wide, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we were talking about rocking that apron. Keep an eye on the number 4 Wrangler. 3 wide action, plenty of room to get her done, but he hit that apron, making a sandwich of the number 83. Round and round goes the number 4 of Robbie Bryan. Not heeding the advice of our admins out there tonight about that yellow line. First caution of the night here in our Thursday Night Thunder. Edward Bray leading 13 laps tonight. Well, they ran 17 laps of green flag racing till a driver popped that yellow line. So far, pretty good race out here. Drivers will be heading down into pit row. Edward Bray leading him into pit road. Derek, John Scott, James Brandon, the whole crowd into pit row underneath our first caution of the night. Drivers that have fallen one lap down are going to be staying out, hoping to get that wave by. The free pass, as we'll call it. Drivers heading out of pit row. Scott Holmes out there on that front row position. Edward Bray, John Rogers, James Brown. Richard Brose in the number 7 tonight. Position 10 in and out of pit row. How about it, Richard Brose? Have you got a copy?
You got me.
I got you. I got you. How are you?
I'm all right. It's nice to be back involved.
It is. We're glad to see you out here. We're certainly thankful for you helping us out on this Thursday Night Thunder series brought to you by Richie B's Pizza. Tell us a little bit about Richie B's.
Richie B's Pizza is now open on Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 8. We extended the hours to get to that nighttime crowd, and it's been working. It's been very successful, and it's good to be back on track, getting a little aggressive, but everybody seems to be holding their line, so it's making it a little easier to get to the front.
Well, I tell you what, speaking of lines, we were talking with our fans out there about the one line out here at Daytona you don't want to mess with, and that is that yellow line. One driver not heeding the advice of Edward out there and avoiding that yellow line. How are you getting along with that yellow line?
I don't know how to explain it, but I'm okay with the yellow line as long as I know my car is going straight on it. If I'm trying to make a move and turn the wheel, no. But if I'm on it and I'm straight, I'm okay. But I'm not. It doesn't bother me that much.
All right, well, I tell you what, you're looking sharp out there in the number 7. You're doing a great job, and you are moving on up, brother, from position 26 to 7th. You going to get up there to the front and win this tonight?
I'm going to give it my best shot. Like you said, I'm up front. I want to stay up front. I want to get good pit stops and see if we can just stay and be competitive.
All right, looking good, sounding good. Be good there, Richie. Richard Brose, our sponsor for the night, sitting up in 7th place position. Edward Bray out there on that front line. Gary Whitmer Jr. riding along in position 12 in the official GW Graphics number 5. Along with Dad Whitmer sitting back there in position 18th. Now Gary Whitmer Sr. started 35th up to position 18th. Pretty good run there by Gary Whitmer. Robbie Bryan, the driver that brought out our first caution, back in line, sitting in position 23 underneath our first caution of the night here at Daytona. 19 laps at Daytona, guys. That's not a bad run at all. Drivers are lining up double file. James Brown up to 4th. Kevin Scott Nelson making it up to top 5. Jack Watts in position 9. Gary Whitmer Jr. falling to position 12. Nick Reynolds up to position 15th. Garrett Potts and Joel Guy 19th and 20th. Coming down that backstretch, we will be going back to racing, this time by lap 20 of 180 laps to go. Drivers are gearing up for our biggest race of the year. The 23rd of December, we will be having our 4th annual Tnt Daytona. That'll be 125 laps at Auto Club this year, though. Auto Club, the Daytona at Auto Club. It'll be a lot of fun out there, live broadcast by KMA TV. Saturday night, 1 week from tomorrow, on the 23rd. Pace car is in. John Rogers in that number 32 with a good jump there on the outside of Edward Bray. Derek giving John Rogers all he can, trying to get him around Edward Bray, but Edward Bray and James Brown on that inside lane fighting back. Got about 14 drivers up there wanting to play. Second pack already forming. That second pack involving Joel Guy, Garrett Potts, Gary Whitmer Sr. A lot of drivers a little timid out here at Daytona, not wanting to really get up there and mix it up, not wanting to get too close to the fire. But I tell you what, you cannot win it if you don't get hot. Derek giving John Rogers all he's got on that outside lane. Kevin Scott Nelson. Whoa, and there's going to be the big one. Maybe yes. Ooh, goodness Lord. Lordy, Lordy. That one's going to hurt. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the big one, as they say, looking at the number 32 getting turned by the number 36 of Derek Glichocki. James Brown narrowly surviving that one. Look at this from the blimp mode, and we'll see exactly how big. It was huge, ladies and gentlemen. It was absolutely catastrophically. I am not so sure that only Edward Bray might have been the only survivor out here. Huge caution coming out on lap 23. Drivers in back slamming on their brakes left and right. Oh, but ladies and gentlemen, just massive, massive carnage. Going to go in-car camera with Joel Guy and take a look at it from his point of view. Actually, with Mark Holmes, seeing the smoke, nowhere to go, rear end collision, taking a spin, carnage in front, carnage in back. Incredibly rough ride. Second caution of the night, lap 23. Total devastation, folks. Looks like 5 o'clock rush hour traffic on a San Francisco Boulevard. I tell you what, well, that's going to be a game changer. Drivers are giving out one backup vehicle, but a lot of drivers got ripped up and apart on that one there. A little bit speechless, I tell you what. Wouldn't want to be caught up into it, but I tell you what, it was a lot of fun to watch those drivers try to work their way through this field. Every driver will be going into pit row, I would imagine. John Rogers coming out of pit row. Edward Bray up there in third position. Lee Staples, Elaine Goodrow out there on that front line. How about it, Lee Staples? Have you got a copy?
Hey, got you, Scott. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you, sir? Did you survive that melee?
Yeah, I did. Climbed on the brakes, but it took a minute for the caution flag to come out, so I didn't know whether I should stay in the throttle or what. But I finally just decided to climb on the brakes, and I'm glad I did. Track wound up being blocked.
So you still got your original vehicle?
Well, there's some funky things going on with the server tonight, Scott. For some reason, I don't have my original vehicle, and I don't know why.
All righty, well, hang in there, brother, because I tell you what, a lot of drivers out here tonight are on their backup vehicle. We had a pretty good look at what happened up there on that front line, and that was indeed first and third position on the outside lane. One driver just pushed a little bit too hard, spun him. What's the atmosphere out there on the track right now after that severe, catastrophic catastrophe out there?
Yeah, it's, I don't know. With the update that iRacing did earlier today, it seems to be a few weird things going on with the server tonight. So I think that's making everybody a little on the edge right now. So we need to get a few more laps under our belts, and maybe we can gain more confidence in what we're doing tonight. A little uncertain feeling right now, Scott.
All righty, I can copy that. All right, good luck to you, Lee, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Thank you, buddy.
Want to get one more quick driver interview in here with one of our admins out here, Edward Bray. Edward, have you got a copy?
I sure do, Scott.
Now, I tell you what, Edward, that happened right to your right side. I saw you get through it, but the whole field, not quite so lucky. What do you think?
Yeah, at the corner of my eye, I happened to see John Rogers go right, and basically I clenched up a little bit, hoping that I wasn't even going to get caught in that right rear. And next thing you know, I looked up my mirror, and all I saw was cars going everywhere. Nothing but carnage.
I'd asked Lee Staples about the atmosphere out there. How are the drivers feeling out there? Because they say that cautions breed cautions. You guys were off to a great start. You had a caution there on lap 20, and then wham bam, the big one on 24.
I think everybody's still, figuring everybody else out. We got some newcomers out here racing with us, so everybody's trying to communicate to those new guys and try to help them along. And, I think now, hopefully, things will calm down, and we can have a lot more green flag racing the rest of the race.
All right, one more question. We have got Black Talon, Lee Staples, Edward Bray out there on that front line. Black Talon Racing, you're up there near the front. You going to stick together?
I'm going to try to, Scott. Hopefully, I can get into position and hopefully push him the rest of the way to the end.
All right, good luck to you, Edward, and keep him in line.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, underneath our second caution of the night, hey, joining me in the booth is my good buddy, Alan Larson. How about it, Alan?
Hey, Scott, how you doing this evening, sir?
Doing good. I tell you what, I'm not sure if you got a chance to view that secondary caution, but it was just teetotal devastation.
Yeah, I've got it on in the truck here, but I'm kind of driving, so I'm not really paying attention to it. I'm just listening to the broadcast over the speaker system. I've got it Bluetooth through the stereo in the truck.
All right, copy that. Sounds like you're the man with a plan. Hey, speaking of driving without being distracted, I hear that Cora and Max Mounts got something pretty special out here for Christmas.
Absolutely. Cora and Max Mount have teamed up to help keep your family safe and arrive alive with the Max Mount. Right now, when you go to www.maxmount.com and enter the promo code CORA10, you will get 10% off of your purchase at Max Mount. A great gift idea for keeping your loved ones and family safe and keeping them hands-free and alive.
Copy that. Great Christmas gift indeed. But I want to hear a little bit more about Max Mount. What differentiates Max Mount and your product from those other fly-by-night products out there on the market?
You said it there, Skip. They're fly-by-night. They're nowhere near as durable. This thing is made out of carbonite plastic. It's the same material that actually race cars are made out of, the carbon fiber bodies. They're very durable. They're adjustable to fit many different devices, and they suction cup to your dash even though it's a textured surface. We have a patent on a special polymer adhesive that is renewable that allows it to stick to your dashboard, so you don't have to have it all the way up against the windshield. You can have it right close where you can reach it real easy and just swipe to answer and do things like that. So you know, pretty much, so you don't have to be distracted while you're driving. You can stay hands-free and stay safe.
And you said you have a special promotion by entering Cora 10, and that is a 10% discount off your regularly low prices already?
Yes, sir, that is. The 10% off the entire purchase.
Now, you also have them in the larger sizes for the Kindle and the iPads?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They go all the way up to the large tablet size. iPads, tablets, Kindles, whatever you want to use them for, you bet.
And can you tell us a little bit about where to check them out online?
You can check them out online on www.maxmount.com. You can also find them on Amazon, but you won't get the discount unless you order them from the MaxMount site, because that's where Cora has the discount set up with. So for this week and through Christmas, through the 26th of December, go to www.maxmount.com, enter this promo code CORA10, CORA10, and you will receive 10% off whatever your total purchase is.
Right.
And also, so something I didn't mention before that I will mention now is that along with the 10% off, we're going to ship it to you free. There will be no shipping charges.
Free shipping and handling as well.
Absolutely, from now through Christmas.
And I'll tell you what, you guys definitely are in the Christmas spirit. Now, before I let you go, how does all this MaxMount Cora KMA stuff tie into PAD, People Against Distracted Driving? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Cora wanted to take MaxMount and hook it up with PAD, because PAD, like us, are all about hands-free driving and staying alive. So I contacted Mike Collini and kind of got MaxMount and PAD hooked up together, and they're both in love with each other's programs and really want to work together. And we'll be doing a lot more in the future as far as sponsoring events and sponsoring the Cora MaxMount Sunday Money Series.
Alrighty, sounds like a lot of fun out there. We are up here in the booth rooting on your good buddy James Brown, but unfortunately he's fallen solo to 33.8 seconds back. Not necessarily a terrible thing if that big one does come out, but we've already had one big one. It is Daytona, Alan. What are your predictions for the rest of the night?
Cautions breed cautions. I know that first, we went 19 laps there, or 16 laps without the first caution, but I just, with these cars, they're so key, and the tracks and the drivers, one thing that's really kind of different here is these drivers aren't used to working together. If it was all KMA and loose lug nuts and that are used to working, I'd say we'd got a pretty good shot at going, pretty much green. But with these guys that haven't run together too much and don't know each other, you just don't know what's going to happen or what they're going to do, and that tends to cause issues.
And you're absolutely right. Thursday night is our recruitment night. It is an open room, open to everybody, tightly screened. Several drivers already removed for inabilities, but you're absolutely right. There is a ton of stranger danger out here. All right, I'm going to get you back up there with your buddy James Brown. Tell him to get on up there and win this thing for Cora and MaxMount.
All right, I'll do that.
Big shout out there to you, Alan Larson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of good information out there about MaxMount. Check them out, maxmount.com. Enter the promo code CORA10, CORA10. You'll receive a 10% discount from now to the 26th of December, along with free shipping. Edward Bray has dropped back to position 12. Lee Staples in position 7, separated by the number 31 of Lane Goodrow. Now, I'm pretty impressed with Lane. Lane, I have no idea if this is a man or a woman or a young driver on his mother's iRacing account. I have nothing as far as the knowledge base of the number 31 Exalted, but I tell you what, Elaine is doing a very awesome job. Ivan Garcia, Gary Whitmer Jr. on that outside lane. Ivan and Gary's been working together all night. Nice looking pink camouflage paint job being there, driven by the number 72 of Ivan Garcia. Edward Bray starting to get a little heavier on that pedal, wanting to move his way up that front line. As they do come around the lap traffic of James Brown. Pretty severe damage on the side of that 199. 199 of Mark Holmes. Brandon Harder. Leonardo Castro out there on that front line. Number 54 of Nick Reynolds with Southeast Motorsports made his way up to position 3 tonight. Now Nick has a partner out here as well, Jack Watts. Jack Watts sitting in position 9th. We'll watch for Jack and Nick to get it hooked up as they come around the lap traffic of the number 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. Gary Whitmer Sr. falling 2 laps down in the Coors Light Chevy Impala 2011 edition. James Brown coming around the number 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. Richard Brose, he said he was going to get to the front and going to stay in the front. Richard Brose in the 07, pushing onto the rear end of the number 79. Richard Brose. Been a while since Richard has a win out here at a super speedway. He has had wins. He can win. He may win. But it has been a long dry spell as Nick Reynolds getting very close to the number 79. Watching that side draft. And there is contact. Richard B. in trouble. No caution will fly. We're going to back that up, ladies and gentlemen. Keeping an eye on the number 31. Bring that side draft down onto the 79. The Richard Brose surviving it, but the number 31 paying for his mistake. Back to live action. No caution has flown. Going to check on Richard Brose. He took a big hit on that left side. Going to zoom those cameras in on Richie B. He's looking all right. Looking good, looking good. Little damage for our sponsor for the night, Richard Brose. You just hate it when the sponsors get wiped out. Garrett Potts in the number 40, making his way up to 5th position, is Jack Watts on the run on the outside of Richard Brose. 79, Leonardo Castro. Left side damage. Severe left side damage. Thinking Richard Brose might want to get around the number 79, and he does go up to lane to Jack Watts. Edward Bray once again up to that front line. Garrett Potts, Brandon Harder, Nick Reynolds, and Jack Watts our top 5 as they come around the number 39 of lap traffic. 20 drivers on that lead lap. Ladies and gentlemen, lap 39 of 100. 61 to go here in Thursday Night Thunder. Lee Staples pulling up onto the rear end of the damaged number 79. Number 29, Scott Holmes on the outside. Severe front end damage on that 79. Lee Staples going to try to push him again. Going to go around him. That 79 is slowing way down. Looking at speeds of 189 miles per hour for the damaged 79, compared up to 192, 194 for Jack Watts, sitting back in 4th position. Edward Bray being pushed on by Garrett Potts, side by side with Nick Reynolds and Jack Watts. Now, I told you folks, Nick Reynolds and Jack Watts would be hooking up at some point in time. They're taking Richie B with them, taking Richie B to the front. Edward Bray leading 21 laps out here tonight. Nick Reynolds leading 5. Richard Brose has led 1 lap. Good for Richie. Brandon Harder leading 6. John Rogers leading 1. John Rogers right now in position 10. Edward and Nick will be coming up on lap traffic very soon. Now we've got you on top of that car camera of Jack Watts. Pretty cool angle to watch as they will be going 3 by with lap traffic. Edward Bray, Garrett Potts, Brandon Harder down to that inside lane coming into turn 3. Now it appears they should overtake the lap traffic along about the backstretch. But they've got a trio and then a single. Things are going to get dicey as we do come around that tri-oval of this 2.5 mile speedway at Daytona. Nick Reynolds seemingly having a little bit of trouble, taking up a lot of real estate. Coming up onto trouble, and there is trouble brewing right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be 3 wide, slower traffic. Nick Reynolds spreading that needle. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Nick Reynolds threading it. Fortunately, the number 4 did get off that track. Otherwise, that would have been a very, very ugly caution. Settle down this front pack a little bit, though. John Rogers dropping to 10th position. Lee Staples falling to 8th. 6 drivers out there on that front pack. Edward Bray, Garrett Potts, Richard Brose, Brandon Harder, Nick Reynolds, and Jack Watts. Number 29 of Scott Holmes hanging on to the rear end of Jack Watts for dear life, but is not going to be able to grab that draft. Edward Bray and Garrett Potts against Nick Reynolds, Jack Watts, Richard Brose, Brandon Harder in the 0-2, the odd man out. One of those strangers we had talked about. Brandon Harder with no friends out here on lap 45 of 100. Checking back in with our middle of the pack drivers. At 11.2 seconds back, we've got Ivan Garcia, Gary Whitmer Jr. for 10th and 11th position. John Rogers, Pat Richey. Good to see Pat Richey back onto his lead lap. Pat Richey taking a slamming early on. Mark Holmes in the 199, back onto the lead lap as well. But unfortunately, 12 seconds back. Now there is a high possibility, folks, that we will go caution-free here on out. Taking a look up from our blimp mode. And you can tell that the pack is thoroughly spread out. 6 drivers up there in that front line. 10 seconds back. The duo of Lee Staples and Leonardo Castro. 12 seconds back, we've got Gary Whitmer, Ivan Garcia, John Rogers, and Pat Rouchet. And 21 seconds back, we've got a 4-car tango of Derek, Kevin Scott Nelson, Elaine Goodrow, Anthony Poston, 1 lap down. Anthony Poston is our first driver, 1 lap down. Now that is one guy that is definitely looking for that caution. Richard Brose takes the lead on lap 47 of 100. Well, go, Richie, go. Very impressed with Richard Brose. Get a big boost from the number 66 of Edward Bray. Richard Brose out here tonight making things happen. There comes a 0-2, Brandon Harder on that outside lane. It's a mighty big responsibility being out there on that front line. Richard Brose doing a great job. Jack Watts, Nick Reynolds still tight in tow. Number 29, Scott Holmes, was able to get back up into this pack. We've got a 7-car lead pack. Jack and Nick, very experienced drivers, holding out for later on throughout the night. Jack Watts with a little bit of front end damage, though, of that number 77. Garrett Potts doing a great job out here tonight. Brought his little brother, Taylor Potts, with him. Taylor, unfortunately, though, has fallen to 20 laps down. Coming around the lap traffic of the number 41. Brandon Harder showing a lot of patience in that outside lane. Richie B on the inside. Number 29, Scott Holmes, sticking with Brandon. We are at the halfway point, ladies and gentlemen, lap 50 of 100. I do want to get a quick commercial in for our sponsor, Richie B, but we're going to keep the eyes up on our race leaders, and we'll be right back at you. Underneath that commercial break, we did have green flag pit stops for Jack Watts and Nick Reynolds. We had it live on camera as we did watch Nick and Jack pull out a little bit of a strategy and go into pit row on lap 53, trying to get away from that crowd. Now that's an interesting situation here because now we have got two drivers that have branched out on their own. And they are getting ready to get ate up by high-speed traffic blaring down on them. Up to the high side. As the lead pack comes ripping by, and that lead pack is down from 7 to 5. Nick Reynolds doing his best to get caught back up with Jack Watts. Richard Brose and company of Edward Bray, Brandon Harder, Scott Holmes, and Garrett Pott not yet pitting. Early pit stops by the boys from Southeast. Sometimes that'll work out, sometimes that will not work out. Oftentimes on those early pit stops, without having the power of the pack with you, 5 is faster than 2. That's common mathematics. Depending upon when that caution flies, depending upon how much travel time is made, that can go either way for the combo. And we have green flag pit stops, and then goes Richard Brose, Edward Bray, John Garrett Potts, 3 of KMA's top-notch driver, into pit row. Watching Richard Brose making his way into pit row on lap 55. Richard Brose fueling up. No tires for Richard Brose. Now it is imperative for Richie B, Edward Bray, and Garrett Potts to get out and get out together. Green flag pit stops for Edward Bray, Richard Brose. Garrett Potts tight in tow. Now we've got another interesting situation. That is stranded Brandon Harder and Scott Holmes up there by themselves, and into pit row goes Brandon Harder and Scott Holmes. So the teammates have been defined. We have got Brandon and Scott against Richie, Edward, and Garrett against Jack and Nick. We'll see if these drivers do end up forming back up into a cluster. Scott Holmes out of pit row. Brandon Harder out of pit row. Drivers need to stay below that yellow line until they come onto the flat of the backstretch. Richard Brose and company bearing down very fast onto Brandon Harder. But Brandon has lost his partner, Scott Holmes. Brandon is now solo. He is in first place. That is not the place you want to be. Solo. Lap traffic of Joel Guy coming up fast and furious onto our race leader, Brandon Harder. Brandon Harder is flying solo. Not sure if Joel Guy is going to pick him up or not. Richard Brose, Edward Bray, Garrett Potts in a pretty happy place right now on lap 57 of 100 with 43 laps to go. 15 lead changes, 2 cautions, 8 laps. Be sure to check us out on the first Sunday of the month, ladies and gentlemen, people against distracted driving. I believe our first race of 2018 will be on January 7th, if my calendar memory is correct. Nonetheless, it will be the first Sunday of the month in January. Big shout out there to people against distracted driving. Whenever you think of Pad, also think of MaxMount. Right now, giving a great deal at Christmas, 10% ordered off of their website at maxmount.com, entering the promo code CORA10, CORA10. Free shipping and handling, lots of styles to choose from. Looks great, feels great, very sturdy. Give the gift of safe driving this year at Christmas. Taking a look at our running order, folks. Richard Brose, Edward Bray, Garrett Potts, our top 3. Brandon Harder, just under 1 second back. Jack Watts, Nick Reynolds at 5 and 6 seconds back on their way. Scott Holmes in 7th position. Pat Rouchet, 21 seconds back. Gary Whitmer Jr. sitting in position 10. Ivan Garcia working with Leonardo Castro for positions 11th and 12th, 22 seconds back. Kevin Scott Nelson in 14th, working with the number 36 of Derek. Anthony Poston in position 16th, 1 lap down. Number 14th of Anthony Poston started out tonight in 13th position, has fallen to 16th. Behind that leader by 2 laps. We have seen some green flag pit stops out here tonight. That's pretty nice. Green flag pit stops often hard to come by out here at Daytona. Boys are working hard at keeping her together tonight. Slower traffic letting these leaders by. Richard Brose leading 12 laps. Edward Bray in no hurry, the number 41 making his way into pit row. Stay tuned next week, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to take the boys down to Homestead, Miami. Huge track, a lot of fun, very wide track out there at Homestead. Boys have good luck out there at Homestead, actually. One of our more favored tracks. Gearing up for 125 laps of Auto Club on Saturday for the 4th annual Santa Dega, brought to you by Over the Top Paints and Designs. Also want to give a big shout out there to John Hedrick, Over the Top Paints and Designs. The best painter on iRacing. You can check him out on Facebook at The Paint Shop. Over the Top Paints and Designs. Caution is out. Taking a look at the number 29 and the number 91. Let me back it up and get a little bit better angle on that one there. Gary Whitmer caught up into it. Tough break there for Gary Whitmer. Number 32 rocking that apron. And that is all it takes. Actually, it appears that the driver in front of Joel Guy may be scraping that wall a little bit. Pat Rouchet trying to come around the number 91 of Joel Guy on the outside. Unorthodox way to come around. Nonetheless, throwing the number 32 off track, the number 72 into the wall. Number 29 and number 91 making contact. Leaders not involved, but nonetheless, that will bring out our 3rd caution of the night. And that will be a game changer out here. It's going to tighten up this field. That is something that Richard, Edward, and Garrett most certainly did not want to see happen. They were on a good run out there. Everything was going along fine, and then wham, that caution comes out. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we got a race, but Richard Brose, Edward Bray, Garrett Potts opting to stay out, not climbing their way into pit row. I'll tell you what, that'll gives us a little chance to talk to Garrett Potts. How about it, Garrett? You got a copy?
How's it going, Scott?
Doing good. Having a lot of fun up here. Riddle me this, riddle me that. You guys are not heading off into pit row.
Well, we have to pit either way. Even if we went in right now, by the time we went green, I think we'd be, my guess is 67. That puts us 3 laps shy, and with us only being, I don't know, 4 car pack right then, if it breaks up again, we're still going to have to pit one more time. So we've decided just to stay out here and see if we can catch another caution or just pit under green. Because I know anybody who pits now, I don't think they can make it. I really don't.
Well, I tell you what, you've had some pretty good competition up here with Jack Watts, Nick Reynolds, Richard Brose doing a mighty fine job out here tonight. But I know that a lot of guys did not want to see this caution come out. How are you feeling about knowing that Jack Watts and Nick Reynolds once again will be nipping at your heels?
Well, I'm sure they'll have a little bit more help now. We'll be back in a pack situation, so I've still got that one faster pair, knock on wood. So we stayed at the rear, kept at it. They're going to be right there with us, but I kind of hurt my feelings when that caution come out because me, Ed, and Richard were set there. We had a pretty good gap on them. I don't think they could catch us.
You had it signed, sealed, and delivered. But unfortunately, now is this your younger brother Taylor out here racing tonight?
No, that's my older brother. He's about 4 years older than me, and he'd always raced on my sim when I wasn't racing, and always wanted to be in Cam A, but we only had one. And when I moved out, he decided to buy his own. He's done really well. He's really good on super speedways. Not as great on the other tracks, and I couldn't figure out why. But he had his wheels set wrong the whole time, so it was really hindering his performance. So hopefully this Friday we can have a different turnout.
All righty, copy that. Good luck to you, Garrett Potts.
All right, thank you, Scott.
Looking at Jack Watts making his way out of pit row. Jack Watts has been running a great race all night long. I'm going to talk to Jack Watts briefly about his race.
Last guy.
How about it, Mr. Jack? Have you got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going, Scott?
Doing very good. Wow, tell me what your thoughts are on this caution coming out.
Thankful. There was no way we were going to catch that lead pack unless this caution came out, so that really saved me and my teammates' butt right there.
Now, we saw you drive, you and your buddy Nick, you guys were the first ones to head there into pit row under green flag circumstances. But that broke you out of that 7-car pack down to that 2-car pack. And then we had Edward, Garrett, and Richie go in, breaking that 5-car pack down to a 3-car pack. How did you guys lose so much time? Did you have a bad pit stop, or do you think that was just the number of a 5-on-2?
It was definitely the number on the 5-on-2. We both had a pretty decent pit stop, and I think somebody else in that pack spun before they hit pit road, so I'm not sure how the 0-2 got back up there, but he got lucky and missed that car. But I think it was the bigger pack, and then they had a couple lap cars catch on to him, so without a caution, we had no way to get up there again.
Well, the bad news is I'm not seeing you onto the rear end of your teammate there, Nick Reynolds. Are you guys going to try to get hooked up and lined up one-on-one?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's the only way to do it right here.
All right, tell me a little bit about Southeast.
Just a small group of guys having a good time out here trying to race and throw our aim out there as some of the higher up guys and just having fun, that's all.
All right, that's what it's all about, brother. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thanks for the host. Appreciate it.
Jack Watts with Southeast Motorsports. Pit stops are made. 3rd caution of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Been a mighty fine race out here, I tell you what, though. But this does change everything, and we all know that cautions do breed cautions. Edward Bray on the outside lane, Richard Brose on the inside, Brandon on the outside, Garrett Potts on the inside. Ivan Garcia up to 5th position. By number 79, Leonardo Castro, still in it. Jack Watts, Nick Reynolds lining up side by side. Elaine Goodrow. We've talked about that number 31 tonight, Elaine Goodrow, quite a bit. Derek Glachaki in the number 36, position 10. Kevin Scott Nelson, position 11. Anthony Poston, our first driver, 2 laps down for Anthony Poston. Joel Guy sitting in pit row getting repaired, 4 laps down. Going to check in on Joel Guy while he is in pit row. How about it, Joel? Have you got a copy?
I got a copy, Scott.
Are you dead in the water as we go green?
Yeah, I'm dead in the water. I can't get but 160 mile an hour, and I'm not going to get out there and be a rolling roadblock.
Well, I tell you what, if you don't mind, you can keep me company up here for the remaining 33 laps.
Be glad to.
What a race it has been, though. 3 cautions, that's not bad for Daytona, especially on a Thursday night. What was it like down there, Joel? Because we did have that second caution, which was just catastrophe.
Well, the racing's pretty good. The cars are moving around quite a bit. Some of the drivers are not able to keep them in a straight line. They're weaving quite a bit. Don't know if it's the handling or if it's a server issue or what, but I didn't seem to have a problem, but the cars around me did. I almost got through that second one without getting hit, which I'd already used my reset because of getting into something. So when I got into that one, that pretty much ended my night. And then when I got into the wall next time, that did end it.
Well, I tell you what, Joel, we have got a very powerful front lineup here, but we've only got 11 drivers on the lead lap. Those 11 drivers are bunched up pretty tight. Richard Brose out here tonight leading 20. Edward Bray leading 26. We don't know anything about Brandon. We don't know anything about Leonardo or Derek or Elaine Goodrow. We don't even know if Elaine is a man or a woman, but I tell you what, Elaine has been putting on a show, and he or she right now is sitting in 10th position. These drivers that you don't know out here tonight, how have they been treating you? How has Elaine been treating you? Have you had a chance to ride beside Derek?
Yeah, I had a chance to ride beside Derek a little bit. He held his line pretty good, but he did drift some. A lot of the drivers that are in here that we don't race with all the time can't seem to hold it down going into turns. If they're on the inside, they drift up to the middle lane and push the upper lane up higher than that. So it's been a handful to drive.
Well, just the yellow line alone. And we are watching this up on TV camera 1. And I tell you what, one of my favorite sayings that I tell the guys when they're scaring me, they're looking like a rattlesnake on crack. And, you know, you get down into that car, and it looks pretty solid and pretty stable. But you look at it up here from the eye in the sky, and you're right, Joel, they are all over the place.
Yeah, well, down in the car, it don't look much better. If you go in car with, say, the 79, you're going to see that he's moving around quite a bit.
And we will do just that. We'll jump into the cockpit of the number 79. And he is on the rear end of the number 40. But, you know, it looks like that number 40. Well, whoa. Easy on the bumper hook. Easy on that bumper hook. Right there, ladies and gentlemen, we had it on camera. He was very close to bumper hooking that number 40. Number 40, Joel, staying about a foot and a half off of that yellow line. But the number 79 has no fear of that yellow. He is not respecting that yellow line.
No, he's not respecting the yellow line, and like I said, he's weaving in and out. Every time he goes into a corner, he drifts a half a lane higher than what he should.
2 drivers that are hooked up through and through is Richard Brose and Edward Bray. And Garrett Potts doing a great job out here tonight. Garrett Potts definitely being a team player. Jack Watts and Nick Reynolds hanging on to the rear end of Kevin Scott Nelson, though. Jack and Nick are in trouble of losing that draft. Right now, Jack pushing hard on Nick to get him back up to that 224 onto the number 31. And there they are on the leaders, and it is a race, and Jack and Nick are still in it. What do you think about Jack and Nick tonight?
Well, Jack's been good tonight. Haven't been around Nick, so I don't know. I've been around Jack racing tonight. Jack's been solid. Jack's a good driver. If he can get to the front, he can win it. It's just a matter of whether he can get enough cars together with him to push him to the front.
And I tell you what, we are still watching that 79, and you are absolutely right. That 79 on that inside lane, fourth car in, has got a death wish on that yellow line. It's going to come up and bite him one day.
Yeah, I just hope it comes up and bites him on another day, not on one of our races, because if he takes the bite, everything behind him is going to get taken out.
Lap 73 of 100 in our Thursday Night Thunder Series, brought to you by Richie B. Glad to have Richie B on board with KMA Racing and KMA TV. Now, talk to us about the other races that we are running this week. Now, we did not broadcast on Monday and Tuesday. I was out with a head cold. So I'm a little clueless as to how Indianapolis has been treating us. What do I got to look forward to tomorrow night when we broadcast the Cup cars at Indy?
I hope you got a good voice, because you're going to be talking for a while.
Has it been that rough at Indy?
Yes, it's been that rough. Monday night it was 6 cautions, and caution laps there are horrendously slow.
Like Pocono.
No, it's probably worse than Pocono. Then we went there Tuesday night with the trucks and thought we were going to be better because trucks are a little slower. And dang if we didn't have 7 cautions Tuesday night. I'm predicting unless the drivers get a lot of practice in or settle down and don't drive with their left foot all the time, I'm predicting anywhere from 10 to 12 cautions.
Oh my goodness. Well, maybe I won't take my NyQuil tonight.
I'm telling you, it's going to be rough.
Well, what's going on out there, though?
It's rough all night.
It's not that hard of a track. It's not that hard of a track, though. What's happening?
Well, they're just overdriving it. It's a track where you've got to brake to go through the corners. You can't just lift, and they're just overdriving it and getting into each other, forcing the issue way too early in the race. And so
there it is. Caution is out. Caution is out.
There we go.
As that caution did come out, we had several drivers heading off into pit row. But I tell you, we're going to back that one out. That one there took me off completely by surprise, Joel. Backing it way up. Going to try to figure out exactly what happened. We know what happened up there in that front line.
Yeah, what happened was the 72 got into the back of the 02, but he didn't hit him center. He hit him on the left corner, and that sent everybody flying.
I tell you what, that was a heartbreaker indeed. But Richie B still out there on that front line. Number 79, Leonardo Castro alive. Number 72. How did Edward Bray? Edward Bray, I don't think fared so well out of that one there, did he?
No, Edward went airborne, so I'm sure he's going to have to, if he's got one, get a backup car.
And we do have it on replay as we speak. And the number 72 right there, the 72 just tagging the rear end of the 02. Edward Bray took a very bad hit up into that wall. Edward Bray was indeed off that ground.
Yeah, Edward got some flight miles on that one.
Tell you what, one of my favorite things to do is put the fans into the cockpit. When a driver does get up into the air like that, in cockpit with Edward Bray, there's just nothing he could do. Richie B narrowly missing it. Just a hair's breadth there for Richie B, but alive and well for Richie B. You just hated to see that happen. I'll tell you what, these drivers have been doing such a good job out here tonight, but it only takes one, and that's going to really mix everything up. Elaine Goodrow out there on the front. Richard B in front. Nick Reynolds. Jack Watts still in it. Nick and Jack pulling off of pit row. Edward Bray, hopefully he's got that reset, as he took a licking, but he's going to keep right on ticking.
Yeah, Edward took a rough hit, but hopefully, like you say, he's got a reset and can come back out there.
Ivan Garcia in the number 72, still rolling around. How about it, Ivan? You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that was a shocker right there, brother. Talk me through that caution.
Oh, man, he went a little too high in the corner, and I've been following him, and I went a little, on the bottom a little bit like I've been doing, and unfortunately I hit his bumper on the wrong side, so it's my fault, and I'm sorry for that.
It happens. It happens. You ain't a racer till you've wrecked the field once or twice, but you're still in it to win it. You're still out here on the lead lap. Have you got a clean car?
Yes, sir. Nice and clean. I just used my first repair.
Now, but, Edward, he might be a little bit timid right now. He's on his backup vehicle. We got Richie B out in front, and Richie B, we know he's a pizza guy, but he is hungry tonight for a win. Nick Reynolds, Jack Watts up there to second and third. Elaine Goodrow in fifth position. Garrett in sixth. Who are you going to try to get to, or who are you going to go back to get?
Well, whoever's in front of me, my partners over here first, and then, secondaries. And, Jack Watts I like, and Reynolds, and Richard, I like them all. So I have a bad decision to make yet.
All right. Well, good luck with that, and good luck to you, Ivan Garcia. By the way, has your birthday got here? I know you got a birthday coming up.
The 18th.
The 18th. I'm going to remember that one day. Happy early birthday.
Hey, and besides, I got something in the way in 2 days. 10-4?
10-4. Copy that. Good luck to you, Ivan.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now, Joel, this also changes pit strategy, because right now there is no pit strategy.
You're right about that. There's no pit strategy. They don't. They can all go to the end from here.
We are looking at Richard Brose, Nick Reynolds, Jack Watts, Ivan Garcia, Elaine Goodrow, Garrett Potts, Edward Bray, Leonardo Castro, our top 8 drivers. Our 9th place driver, Brandon Harder, still in pit row. Kevin Scott Nelson in pit row getting repairs. So looking basically like we may be down to 8 drivers on about a 20-lap shootout.
Yeah, that's about what it looks like. So we're almost to the point in the race where the crew chief comes over the radio and tells the driver, "All right, it's yours to win. Bring me the steering wheel back or the trophy."
Number 14, Anthony Poston, making his way into pit row. Anthony Poston, 1 lap down. Going to get a quick driver interview in with Anthony. How about it, Anthony? Have you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, SC, you're in pit row. Safe place to talk to you. You are the first driver 1 lap down, second driver 1 lap down. What are your thoughts on the race tonight?
It's been crazy. Just cars bouncing back and forth all the time.
All right, do you think it's the car? Do you think it's the track? Do you think it's something to do with the atmosphere? We've had a lot of complaints about that.
I think it's a little bit of everything combined. I mean, new drivers not knowing what they're doing. And like I said, people bouncing around.
All righty, now are you, I think you're probably hoping for another caution so you can get those 2 laps back?
Yeah, I need 2 cautions if I can get them.
All right, well, hopefully, for my sake, we don't see him, but hopefully for your sake, we'll see how it turns out. Good luck to you, Anthony.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Anthony Poston, one of our newer drivers, younger driver. Drivers are lined up double file. Richard Brose on that inside lane. Nick Reynolds on that outside lane. Jack Watts on the inside needs to get up lane to Nick. But Ivan already stating very clearly he's going with the car in front, which will block the 77 from getting hooked up with the 54. What do you think, Joel? What needs to be done here by Richie B?
Well, Richie B needs to hope that Jack Watts in the 77 will push him and push him hard to keep him out front. If not, then it's going to be a stalemate between the 54 and the double seven, the 07, as to who comes across start-finish line first if they stay in the pattern that they are right now.
Well, we are back to green flag racing. Ivan Garcia almost able to push Nick Reynolds past Richard Brose with that inside lane being led by Richard Brose. Jack Watts hot on his heels. Garrett Potts on the outside. Third car out. Very tight racing. But really, there's only 9 drivers here. There's 11 up here, but there's only 9 drivers that are really fighting out here for this win right now.
That is correct, and it looks like that Jack Watts is going to push Richie B hard, so maybe Jack's going to try to push him past the 54 and then him get up so he can get up in front of the 54 and leave Richie hanging up. They're wrecking.
Oh, no caution, though, no caution. We're going to stay with the race leaders, but that, well, Joe, go check that out on your replay. I'm going to stay up here with the race leaders, but I do believe that Jack Watts may have gotten involved in that one there. Jack Watts definitely off that pace. Richard Brose, Garrett Potts on the inside lane, Edward Bray in third position inside, Nick Reynolds on the outside, Ivan Garcia dropping in that inside lane, leaving Nick Reynolds hung high and dry on that outside lane, and here comes Anthony Poston pulling up the rear. Jack Watts in 6th, definitely off that pack. Elaine Goodrow off that pack in position 7th. So right now we are down to Richie B, Garrett Potts, Edward Bray, Ivan Garcia, and Nick Reynolds.
Yeah, and on the replay it shows that the 31 bumper hooked the 77 and sent him down into the apron. 77 was able to save it, not get any major damage out of it, but he's lost the draft and it's not even going to be in competition now.
Four cautions of the night. 4 cautions, that's not a bad race at all. Drivers are good to go on fuel, and what we're looking at right now, Joel, we have got Richard Brose, Garrett Potts, Ivan Garcia, Edward Bray, our top 4 drivers, and that 5th driver is lap traffic of Anthony Poston, going to try to help out somebody. Nick Reynolds, 3.4 seconds back off of our lead pack in 5th position. Jack Watts, 4.9 back, 5 back. Elaine Goodnow and Leonardo Castro in 7th and 8th at 7.3 back. And Brandon Harder, our 9th place driver, 28 seconds back. Anthony Poston, position 10, with the leaders 2 laps down.
Yeah, it looks like we got the KMA squad up front right now. Richie B leading it, and then the rest of the 4 are either, one Black Talon racer, Edward Bray, even though he is a member of KMA, but he's a subset of Black Talon Racing with KMA. But the other 3 are actually KMA racing teammates.
Now we are on lap 85 of 15 to go. Do you think these guys are going to push our sponsor to a win, or you think Garrett and Edward, they got a decision to make, I tell you what?
I'm thinking that probably Edward and Garrett, as long as Ivan's out on the outside, Everett and Garrett are going to stay behind Richie and push him to the win.
Now, is there any possibility of Anthony pushing Ivan Garcia up ahead of Richie B?
It's possible, but not probable. 3 cars can can go faster than 2 in the draft, even though they're side by side. The 3 on the inside is going to have the advantage.
Richard Brose has led 36 laps tonight. Edward Bray leading 26. Side by side, Richie B. Ivan Garcia almost up there to the quarter panel of Richie B.
Yeah, he'll get to the quarter panel, but but they go into the corner and Richie B's going to have the advantage because he's going to go a shorter distance around the track. And if I'm gonna have somebody behind me pushing, I want Edward Bray pushing, and with those 3 on the inside, Ivan Garcia is gonna have a hard time to make it to the front.
Heartbreaker. Caution is out.
Yep.
Looking at the number 14 of Anthony Poston with a slight wiggle onto the number 72, turning the number 72 into Richie B. Tough break there for Richie B. Garrett Potts, Edward Bray sliding by. Did you see the elevation on Richie B?
Yes, I did. And basically it was the same thing that happened with the 31 and the 77. Got off center hit on the rear bumper, and that sent him into the wall.
I tell you what, tough break for Richie B. I know he is absolutely heartbroken. He's doing such a fine job. And I tell you what, he must have been 15, 20 feet off the ground right there. Tough break there for Richie B. So I do believe Edward Bray might be the only one that survived. Ivan Garcia is still out there on that track.
Yeah, it's going to be, now it's going to be whoever's got the cleanest cars between, I think, Jack Watson, the 54, and Edward Bray, and whoever comes up to help him.
Ah, you're right. You know, I forgot all about Jack Watson, Nick Reynolds. That's the break Jack Watson, Nick Reynolds have been looking for.
Yes, it was.
I'm going to do a walk around on the vehicle of Ivan Garcia and see, oh my goodness, look at that side damage for Ivan Garcia. Ivan Garcia making his way into pit row. Definitely needing a new vehicle there on that number 72. Ivan actually very fortunate to be able to get into pit row underneath his own free will. Edward Bray, clean car. Nick Reynolds clean. Jack Watts very clean. Number 4, or position 4, number 79, not so clean. So Garrett Potts in pit row taking on repairs. Edward Bray might be out on his own tonight.
Yeah, if Edward don't have a partner, he's a sitting duck.
Taking a look at our running order: Edward Bray, Nick Reynolds, Jack Watts, Leonardo, Garrett Potts, Ivan Garcia in 7th, Richard Brose sitting back in 9th. I think the hit, though, that Richie B took, that might put him out for the night.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Richie's gonna have a car, a backup car, I don't know if he's used one tonight or not.
Five cautions of the night, lap 90 of 100, 10 to go. 21 lead changes, good lead change count up there. 5 cautions, and that's getting a little bit high out here at Daytona. But I've seen a lot worse, Joel. It has been a good night of racing out here on this 2.5 mile speedway.
Yeah, it's been a good night of racing. 5 cautions is kind of high, but it's not the highest we've ever seen. I mean, we have seen where you run a quarter of the race under caution. Now that's a bad night.
Bad night indeed. Now next week we're hoping to bring you some really good racing. We're going to take the boys down to Homestead. Homestead's a huge, very wide track. Gearing up for our San Diego race coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, Homestead's a real wide track, and it's a fun track to run on. It's a hard track to pit on because you have to hit the access road going into pit road, and it comes up fast. And you also have to hit the access road going off of pit road. So pitting and getting back on track at Homestead is a test of driver ability.
Unfortunately, Gary Whitmer Jr. and Sr. both out for the night. John Rogers out. Kevin Scott Nelson, Elaine Goodrow, Richard Brose, Derek Glachaki, Scott Holmes, Pat Richey out. Remaining drivers are Edward Bray, Nick Reynolds, Jack Watts, Leonardo Castro, Ivan Garcia, Brandon Herter, Garrett Potts, and Anthony Poston. Anthony Poston in pit row. Garrett Potts in pit row taking repairs. Garrett Potts may be dead in the water.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting as to what transpires in the rest of this race.
Brandon Harder back out on that track on the lead lap. Ivan Garcia with a clean car. So this is going to pretty much be the Edward Bray, Nick Reynolds, Jack Watts competition. Edward Bray does have Ivan in his rearview mirror, but you can guarantee that Jack Watts and Nick Reynolds will be doing everything they can to get hooked up and take this home to a 1-2 position for Southeast.
Yes, sir. And Jack Watts is right behind Edward, so if Jack doesn't push Edward on the start, then Nick Reynolds can get out in the front.
Drivers are lined up, double foul into position, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Looking at about a 7-lap shootout. We are on lap 92 of 108 laps to go. 21 lead changes, 5 cautions totaling 19 laps.
Yeah, Nick Reynolds is going to have a tough time, though, because he's got the 79 behind him, and the 79 is the one that can't hold a good line.
We are back to green flag racing. Keeping a close eye on the 79 of Leonardo Castro. Jack Watts onto the rear end of Edward Bray. Inside lane moving faster due to the connection between Ed and Jack. Nick Reynolds really just does not seem to have the help that he wants. Ivan Garcia pulling up onto that inside lane. Edward Bray protecting that inside lane. Jack Watts up. Edward Bray up. Wiggling just a little bit. Almost looked like a little bit of a block right there.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Whoa. They're tight. They're tighter than a hair in a biscuit right there. Jack Watts, Edward Bray, tighter than a hair in a biscuit. Out goes Jack Watts. Out goes Nick Reynolds. Edward Bray hung to dry. 79 has got to get up to the rear end of number 66. Jack Watts down in front of Edward Bray rather than sticking with his teammate Nick Reynolds. But you know, looking at the rear end of Nick Reynolds, I think he might have a spot of damage on that 54. 54 dropping back to position 5 behind Ivan Garcia. So now the question is, who is going to push Edward Bray around Jack Watts?
The only person I know of that's going to do that would be Ivan if he can get to him, but it doesn't look like Ivan's going to get to him.
Well, that's 79 is just...
Nick Reynolds is coming back to the outside trying to get up there, but he can't get there by himself.
Well, and Ivan Garcia either is not pushing on that 79, or that 79 does not have the horsepower that he needs, because they are not getting up to the rear end of Edward Bray and Jack Watts.
Well, when you get Edward Bray hooked up to somebody that he can push, they're going to be way gone.
Ivan and Nick down in the grass. Ivan and Nick down in the grass. We're going to back that up and see what happened with Ivan and Nick. We are on replay. Contact between Ivan and Nick. Ivan and Nick down in the grass, going to stop and feed the cattle tonight. Caution is out. We had it live. Action for you, ladies and gentlemen. Ivan and Nick making contact. Now the caution was thrown once Nick and Ivan popped back up into that track synchronized spinouts right there. That is something that Jack nor Ed wanted to see. And that'll be our 6th caution of the night. Well, now I just don't know what to think. We have got Jack Watts, Edward Bray, and Mr. Unsteady in the number 79, but that's 79. I do believe he is pretty tore up. Severe left side damage.
Scott, I think it might be over.
You think it might be over?
I think it might be.
We are going to have to give it a lap or two. But I tell you what, that gives us a chance to talk about Max Mount. Me and Alan Larson were up here talking about Max Mount. Before we do in tonight's broadcast and race, Joel, did you know that Max Mount, through December 26th, they are running a great deal on their gear? Go to maxmount.com, enter the promo code CORA10, CORA10, and you not only get free shipping, you get 10% off your purchases. How good of a deal is that at Christmas?
That's an excellent deal, Scott. And if I didn't already have a hands-free device already built into the car, I would definitely get involved with one. But my radio in my car actually has Bluetooth in it and connects to my phone.
Well, I tell you what, they hold tablets, they hold iPads. Get one for your wife. She can mount it up on there when she's a passenger. Free up having the hot iPad in her lap. All sorts of uses for these Max Mount devices.
You're right about that. Like I said, if I needed one, I would definitely be buying one this time of year because it is a great deal on them right now. And they are a wonderful product because they don't just hold your device, they let you maneuver your device. I've looked at them and they've got a lot of adjustability in them.
Give the gift of safe driving this year at Christmas. Drivers are coming to lap 98 under caution. I don't believe we're going to go back to green flag racing. What do you think?
I'm thinking that they haven't gotten to the green yet, according to my scanner. So I'm thinking that it's over.
Now, if indeed it is over, that will put Jack Watts out there on that front line. Edward Bray in position 2. Let's go on and get a chat in with Edward Bray, and he'll be able to let us know for sure what the officials are saying on their radios. How about it, Edward Bray? Have you got a copy?
How's it going, Scott?
Has the Fat Lady sung?
Fat Lady has sung.
Fat Lady has sung. This is over, other than pacing around for a lap and a half. All right, Edward Bray, I tell you what, you're one of the admins out here. You really can't be ashamed of this race. It was a pretty darn good race. A couple of button hooks. A lot of complaints about the server issues, possible some net code. You got second place. I know you're a happy camper. Talk to me about your night.
I think we had a little bit of net code issues at the beginning, but probably around lap 30, around 30-ish, I think, is sort of settling down. I just think that there was just a little bit of impatience going, just a little bit, not paying attention on the bump, on the bumps on the rear end, making sure they're square. I got caught up in that one. Luckily, I didn't get caught up in the other one. I don't know how I got squeezed through there, but other than that, I mean, it was a great race. Sounds like everybody that is still here had a good time, and big shout out to you for broadcasting and for this awesome league that I joined 2 years ago, probably now. Big shout out to Lee Staples, my teammate, and I mean, it was an awesome race.
Now, I do got to ask you one question about the lap. The last green flag lap we had before we went under caution, you had Jack Watts coming up on your outside. He had Nick Reynolds pushing. We saw you jump up lane a little bit. Was that intentional? Was that a little bit of a block? I mean, it is racing. You got to protect your position. What do you think?
I was trying to get up there and just stay in front of that train. So yeah, I did try to get up there and keep getting pushed. And then I went ahead and dropped down. So I tried.
You did a great job, Edward. Good job.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, Joel, I'm going to let you take Jack Watts and talk to Jack Watts. How about it, Jack? This is Scott and Joel.
What's up, Scotty? Joel? How's it going, guys?
Hey, Jack. Congratulations on the win. Has it been rough?
Oh, yeah, it's been a little rough. It's not as rough as I expected for having this many cars to start. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but it was a lot cleaner than I thought it was going to be.
Were you concerned when Edward Bray tried to get in front of?
Oh, not really. He tried to put a block on me, I think, with like 5 to go, which, I mean, is expected. But I have my teammate Nick Reynolds back there, and I mean, that's the guy who helped me through the whole race. So I owe a lot of this to him.
Got your copy on that. Well, congratulations on the race. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out?
Oh yeah, Nick Reynolds for helping me out to get this win, and my team Southeast Motorsports, and Doug Turner for doing my paints.
All right. Well, have a good evening. We'll catch you after the race.
Thank you, sir.
All righty, congratulations, Jack Watts. Now get out there and burn the house down. We got the cameras locked on you.
Yes, sir.
So not a bad race at all. Jack Watts bringing her home tonight. Jack Watts, Edward Bray, Leandro Castro, Nick Reynolds, and Brandon Harder, our top 5. A lot of drivers knocked out early. We had 2 huge ones. But I tell you what, overall, a really good race and a big win out here for Jack Watts. Jack Watts doing his final lap. Did have one more driver interview I wanted to get in with, Joel. How about it, Mark? You've got a copy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. How are you doing, Mark? You're live with Scott and Joel.
Hey, fellas. What's going on?
Did you have a chance to watch the race?
I did not. We had something we had to go take care of away from the homestead, so we just came in and just popped in for a minute.
All right, we'll copy that. Well, the reason I pulled you down, I wanted to give a big shout out to one of my favorite painters, one of your favorite painters, and our sponsor, Richie B, gave you a little bit of help this year at Christmas with the iRacing subscript.
Yes, he did. man, just really overwhelmed with all the help. Um, just really humbled by the amount of support from KMA, the friends we have here, and just really feeling blessed tonight from the friendships and everything we've built on throughout this whole last 3-4 years we've been together.
All righty, copy that. It is the season. And are you ready for Talladega, Mark?
Oh my goodness. Wait till you see what we have in store for Talladega. Oh, we're just so super excited. We have got some new equipment under the hood of this number 3 over the top Paints and Designs vehicle, and just really super stoked about running this race for Christmas, man. All in the name for Jesus.
There you go. It is the season, and Jesus is the reason. All right. We'll talk to you there on the flip side, Mark Jackson. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, brother.
All righty, Joel Guy. I am going to get on out of this booth. I'm going to take you with me. Overall, not a bad night as we were watching Jack Watts burn down the house. I appreciate it, Joel Guy.
Thank you, Scott. I'm glad I could come in the booth with you after I got out of the race. I'm a little upset that I got knocked out, but that's right.
That is racing, and that is the way that, unfortunately, it does work out. Nonetheless, you did a great job helping me out, and I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Scott.
All right, folks, that'll wrap it up here with KMA TV and Daytona's Thursday Night Thunder. Jack Watts, hell of a job out here tonight, only leading 7 laps, but burning down the house. Check us out tomorrow night in our 3rd race at Indianapolis. Joel thinks it's going to be a bit of a rough night. We'll find out how the boys do tomorrow in the Big Boy Toys. All right, we are signing out, and we'll catch you tomorrow.